Nag Jaiswal, who is running for Naperville City Council, by Sidhu of Outland Media. We ran into Nag at Indian Harvest Restaurant in Naperville.
Mr. Nag Jaiswal.
How are you?
Nice to see you.
Good to see you, Harry.
And today is the first day of the election,
Absolutely.
or early voting.
Early voting.
Right. So what would you like to say about that, and how is that going?
So it's been a busy season. As you know, I have started campaigning since August. So when the elections were announced, we pulled the packet, and it's been a constant race against our competition, race against people, against time. You need to cover 110,000 voters. It's not easy. And Sheila and I and my family, my friends, my volunteers, we have put up a very good campaign. And the campaign, when you go, so this morning we went to the library, we went to the city hall, and when somebody walks out, there was this elderly voter who came out, a senior, said, "Congratulations, I voted for you. You're a man of integrity. I heard you speak." That actually satisfies and humbles you. That what you have done, what you have put, the heart we all have put in this race, it is coming out, right? That's the fruit, is early voters coming out and saying they know our name, so they know my name, Nag, and they also say, "We heard you, we voted for you, we are rooting for you." And it's been that for quite some time, and I'm deeply humbled, and my gratitude to all the Naperville voters out there.
You really have worked very hard in this campaign, and your main motto and what you believe in is saving money for the taxpayers and also increasing businesses. Would you like to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, the 4P platform kind of is resonating with the voters. In the area where I live, our property taxes have gone, almost 40% in the last 7 years. Now, it doesn't seem more, but when you're paying $21,000 for your property tax, it's a lot. Now, has the property value gone up? No, the property value is almost the same for what we bought. So what it tells is, inflation adjusted, still we are paying a lot. Now, I can't point fingers at school board or our city council or the state or the county, but the reality is accountability is important. What we need is leaders who can work with each other but not take a property owner's pocketbook as their pocketbook. So the fiduciary responsibility that is needed, it's not there. Or maybe it is falling short. I won't say it's not there, but it's falling short. So we need to think of our customer first. When I say customer, that's our public, our voters, our property owners, our residents who are putting in all the hard-earned money in this investment called home, which for many, that is the only thing left when they retire, correct? And if that taxes are so high that you have to sell and move to a different area, then Naperville is going to lose all the sheen. And that's been resonating with all the voters all along. Now, businesses, you are aware, we have large businesses that vacated. We have small businesses that are shutting down. Again, you can blame it on COVID, but net, Naperville is in a great place. It is top rating. But how do we make sure we keep it? The city council all of a sudden now has 4 vacancies and a mayor is changing. So we need to make sure we have very knowledgeable, educated, or hardworking people who are dedicated to this city. I live 16 years in this city. I have my 3 generations living here, and I don't want to let that future go into a hand where there is no experience or the vision is so different that it defeats the whole purpose why I came here to live, just like you and many others have done. Yeah.
So Lately, I've heard that when I was reading the news, and I even heard on TV, that crime actually has increased in the last few months in Naperville. And they also, or it can also be attributed to lack of policemen and the funds that the police are receiving right now. You have something to say about that?
So I don't know about the statistics because the statistics is something that we will have to reach out to the chief Aris. But one thing I can say is we have fewer policemen on the road than 2008. When I talked to the police union, when I went through what's happening with the real statistic, south of Naperville, you on any given good day, you have only 2 policemen patrolling. And that's not a very encouraging sign because if there is a case reported or if there is a mental health issue or anything, the other officer is pulled in. So which means there is nobody on patrol. So we need to make sure we go back to the 2008 plus level because the population from 2008 to now obviously has increased and we don't have an increase in the count of the policemen. We are very fortunate, and this I attribute to the Naperville Police Department, that we are in safe hands. Now, can this continue? I do not know. The amount of population and the high density that's moving in Naperville South and Naperville in general, not just South, but overall population boom, we don't have that headcount increase. That's not the case with management or anything else. So everywhere there's a headcount increase except where it matters the most, which is the security. So that's an area which definitely I want to focus and make sure we give our cops the right, vehicles. We just have one surplus vehicle for 19 officers. Not a positive or encouraging sign if you're an officer. Can we do that for firemen? Can we do that for any other officers? That is what is saving us, that is protecting us. So we need to have, everything studied, and if I get elected, I want to make sure I focus on police.
One of the main reasons why my family and a lot of my friends' family moved into the area is because of the good school systems. And this was quite a few years ago. But now we find that there's disparity between District 203 and District 204. What will you do to help to kind of bring that to some sort of a close?
So one thing I want to make sure everyone understands, I am not doing a north-south divide because 203 is in north and 204 is in the south of Naperville, because school districts span across different cities. And just to make sure, I'm not running for school board, but the council decides on how many residents move into that geographical area. So right now we have a problem where Aurora has a high construction going on, high density construction around Fox Valley Mall area. Those residents are going to move into 204. So the 204 tax district, school district is burdened with many residents, new kids coming in. And because it's all residential, the property taxes are obviously going to be hit. Now, the good news is recently council passed Block 59, which is rejuvenation of that corner area opposite Fox Valley. So we are hoping that with the business district awarded to that neighborhood, it is something similar to the Oak Brook Mall kind of a development. We all are positive that that is going to bring in some revenues. But again, if you ask me holistically, the city council should start looking at, are we really going to bring in more residents or do we bring in more commerce? And it should be a very decent mix. I'm not saying no high density, but we need to see where it fits. And I have repeatedly said that in my campaign is everything has to be planned. We can't just go back and do what we were doing repeatedly because that's not working right now. 204 is at 16% under budget, which I believe the school district, the councils of 3 different towns all are combined, they have done this, right? We, as the taxpayers of Naperville, we are paying more because we have the highest share. But eventually, it is going to flip to Aurora. So we need to make sure that we have that relationships. Again, it is more of planning and again, the voters have to speak to school districts, right? Their school district boards, what are they doing? I don't think that's happening.
Well, thank you for that. What I really do want to ask you is that in Naperville, we feel that no more construction, or at least from what I gather, that no more construction is taking place anymore. It has come to some sort of a saturation point. Do you feel that way, or am I wrong?
Well, build-outs happen. In cities like Naperville, build-out is bound to happen because there is a certain geographical location. It's a 190-year-old city. So obviously, the city has reached to its point. But then rejuvenation happens. When rejuvenation happens, you identify which mall areas, which commercial areas need to be redone. And that's where the council comes in, the Naperville planning and zoning comes in. There we say, okay, there is a possibility, right? We can increase the commerce here. Now, it doesn't have to be north or south. But what we're saying is let's make sure south we elevate it, right? That doesn't mean we have to put north down. We have to have the north. It's I-88 corridor is vacant. A lot of good buildings are vacant. So we need to bring that. But if we bring good business, if you remember, the restaurant we are sitting in used to be always full, right? Because, we used to have so many high-paying tenants in this area, Lucent and all the good guys. Many of them have shut down or left. So what my intent here is, we bring in big business, that will automatically spur the small and medium businesses to grow, the dependent businesses to grow, and then the commerce will increase. We don't have to just push residences to the south, right? So that's the idea. So we still have a possibility of construction here. We are not completely built out here.
Well, thank you for that. I do want to ask you one last question, and that is, what makes you different than your opponents?
As the old lady said today, integrity. But overall, my experience, my perseverance, my pragmatism. I have 30 plus years of work experience. I have traveled across the world. I have worked in Fortune 100 companies. I have run my own business. But above all, I know how to work with all kind of people, right? It is the customer first, or it's the people first. I'm a servant leader. I want to make sure I take along the city hall. I want to make sure I work with every resident, whether they are blue or red, and that's why I'm purple, to make sure I take the good of all, take everybody along, and use my education, my experience, and my experience with working in several boards.
You're an engineer and
right.
You have your own company.
Right. And all of this together, I want to take it and move Naperville forward, and that's why I'm running. And also, my 3 generations live here. I want to give them what I came with. They should have that or more, not less. So it's giving back.
Outland Media thanks you, and we just met you right here outside, and we were ready to interview you. And
thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. All things good happen.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.